This week we have our own senior member and also a mentor for many of us in Vivekananda Kendra, Shri.Raghunandanji, who will be talking about it. Raghunandanji, while you start your address, you can give a brief introduction about yourself and give your talk, which will help us to reflect and see the scope of its application. Over to Raghunandanji. Vasudev, would you like to have any brief introduction or anything?
No, you have already covered everything. In fact,
Okay.
I was touring UP. I went to Prayag, then Kashi, Ayodhya. One
Namaste to everybody. Uh, I'm a pilgrim in search of myself. That's my introduction. That's enough, I think. Last week on Guru Purnima Day, we had an occasion to, or rather, we were fortunate enough to attend a youth convention organized by Ramakrishna Mission, Trivandrum. And to our pleasant surprise, it was attended by 1,400 or 500 children. And most of whom, in fact, that's what we appreciated, most of whom were from NCC, national service schemes, and many colleges who were involved with these activities. So what struck us was that the whole crowd, it was not a crowd as such, it was a receptive group of children who were disciplined. Then later on we came to know one of the chief guests who was talking to the children, addressing the children, was one Brigadier Anand Kumar. And he's from the army, he's commandant of Kerala chapter of NCC. Each one of these, there were about four speakers. One of them was Prakash Anand Kumar, this commandant of NCC. The program was inaugurated by Princess of Travancore State, one Lakshmi Bai ji. Then Dr. Lakshmi Kumari, who is going to write the foreword to the third volume, our own person, who was the ex-president of Vivekananda Kendra. And one Divya Iyer, who is the IS officer, who's extremely talented lady, who is now in charge of that Willingham Port project. So what was most interesting was all of them, they referred to and spoke on Swami Vivekananda, but each one of them gave his own or her own perspective, and that's very interesting. We have actually I have not read the book, but I know a title of the book. Title of the book: Infinite Paths to Infinite Reality, by one monk of Ramakrishna order, in which Sri Ramakrishna's attitude towards life is given. He says that he is to learn from anybody and anyone who is to come across, whom he is to come across. And not only that, he is to respect the perspective or the point of view of each and every person. And in this, I'd like to narrate a very interesting or humorous episode which happened in the lives of two people. One was Bertrand Russell and the other one was Dr. Bernard Shaw. It seems Bertrand Russell used to respect Bernard Shaw. So one of his speeches, he invited Bertrand Russell to attend it. After the speech is over, he was very eager to get the feedback from Bernard Shaw. So he went to him. He said, no, let's take a walk and you join me in our drawing room for a cup of tea. After reaching the home, he was very deliberate in all his actions, Dr. Bernard Shaw. He said that whatever you spoke is there in one book, one single book. Bertrand Russell was shocked because he had put so much of effort to prepare that speech. is there a book? I'd like to see it. And Bertrand Russell, Bernard Shaw went inside and brought Oxford Dictionary. Humor apart, every one of us uses certain words, and each one of us, when we uses those words, we express it in our own perspective, and that's where the beauty of learning is. That keeps us. If you have this attitude, the attitude of Sri Ramakrishna, as long as I live, so long shall I learn. That was his attitude, and he kept on learning from different sources, different people. So this was a occasion for us to learn. Commander Anand Kumar, he, as he would have been talking about that all his life, was talking about the discipline and effort. The second thing was, he said that you have to dream. What should be the dream? The dream should be such that it should be seen when you are awake. Normally we sleep and dream. He says, instead of that, we should dream in such a way that that dream should not allow us to sleep till we realize that dream. Then he said, he took Swami Vivekananda's thought. He said, take a thought, make it your own, make it your lifeblood, pursue it, put all your effort, and then go for it. If you do not achieve it, maybe you have certain setbacks in the approach, you change it. So this was the way he inspired the youngsters. The next was the princess, and we didn't know that she's so eloquent. And Swami Vivekananda was used to praise women of Kerala, because it seems he spoke to them in Sanskrit when he was touring the South India, especially Travancore. So this lady, she said, in fact, it was an emotional speech, because what is going on in Kerala presently is not it's not very good. It's not very appealing. The children are taking to drugs and drinking, and slowly and steadily the children are going away from the one. She rest the children, those children who have come, says, you are all disciplined children. First of all, you should know, or you should learn to say no to things. When something which is not according to your culture, not which is helpful to you, which has a destructive power, like drugs, you should say no to it. If a bad thought comes, you should learn how to say no to it. And with this no, you will be able to lead a healthy life, helpful life, both of them. When she was talking about it, I was just reminded that Kerala is such a sort of paradoxical state, where there are different groups of people interested in different things. Unfortunately, the media only culls out certain negativities from the society, and then it enlarges it, making a mountain out of a molehill. There are very active groups which are doing it, and you can see whenever there is an accident, whenever there is an emergency, like you say the floods which happened, every one of the persons, the fishermen, everybody runs and helps the people who are in trouble. So these children who are already enjoying, in fact, I don't know whether you can call it enjoying, or perforce are doing certain service activities like the National Service Scheme and also NCC. If these people hear such talks, not only hearing such talks, listening to such talks, but should be given certain living examples who are leading a life which is healthy, then probably it will be more effective. Then coming to Dr. Lakshmi Kumari, she said that you have to have one ideal in life, one aim in life. What should be the aim? The aim should be that which is reachable. Today you are doing something, you reach that, and tomorrow you improve upon your effort and slowly go on proceeding. And she said that Swami Vivekananda is an ideal as far as facing trials and tribulations are concerned. That he faced so many things. In fact, nobody knew him when he went to United States. Nobody recognized him. But India was recognized by that first speech which he gave. And this Divya Iyer, who concluded, who was the last person to speak, she said, she took the famous quotation of Swami Vivekananda, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. She gave a wonderful interpretation of arise. Arise means not only physically becoming active, but also mentally alert. And when you become mentally alert, you become sensitive to the issues of the society, and probably you, if you go to it, if you approach these problems of the society, maybe you'll be able to help other people. So basically, the idea was, the idea of telling about this convention was that all of us are hearing a lot of very, very effective oratories, speeches made by people. But unfortunately, what happens is we hear them, we listen to them, and probably even understand them. But when we come out to the halls where the convocation or when the program is taking place, somehow or the other, we get again entangled in the day-to-day problems. So unless and until they have somebody who may or may not be a good speaker or something like that, but who's living the life which we want, which is an ideal life, perhaps it will be more this thing. And I felt that as a member of the working group, we can do a lot of work in this direction. The other day I was talking to Vasuji. I was telling him that we could have certain small camps, maybe 2-day retreats or 2-day camps at Kanyakumari or different venues where we can approach these children, or the children can be addressed and then learn to live a way which is sustainable. And I think that's what I wanted to convey. The convention as such was a very great event, but through that convention, we feel we have a lot of things to learn. And these days, I think there are a lot of more orators than livers who are living the things, because they impress the people. But it's not the question of just impressing, but probably living. Dr. Lakshmi Kumari used to tell, I met Raghunandanji once in Delhi. She was a senior scientist in Pusa. Raghunandanji told a very great, Raghunandanji was 13th president of Ramakrishna Math and Mission. He told Lakshmi Didi that this society of ours, he used these very words, this society of ours has become a leper society. Almost all the tissues are waving away, are getting destroyed. And he says there are a few living tissues, and these living tissues are living the ideals of our culture. And you have to maintain these living tissues. And he told Lakshmi Devi that you are one of those living tissues. So as far as possible, live those ideals which are given by our culture, and try to inspire through your life, so that the small oasis can be there, so that you can. It's utopian to think that by just talking about it, by propagating about it, we are going to change the world. But we can change small groups, and these groups, these very groups, can become oases, like it is already happening. So many communities are there which are living sustainable life, and in the third volume talks about it or writes about it. So we try to strengthen ourselves, strengthen our living tissues, so that we can be of use to the society later on. I think that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for your time.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Over to the working group members for reflecting on the talk made by it. Raghunandanji, can you tell about the Swamiji's name, please? Who wrote a book on infinite paths to infinite reality?
One Swami Ayan Maharaj. Ayan Maharaj. I'll send you the details.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have it presently. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Over to the members for reflection, please. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Raghunandanji, as usual, yours is completely mind-blowing almost. So, we are grateful to hear you give us these things. My only, these are being recorded, is what I was told. My only thing is that we should be able to, capture all these nuggets and somehow make them available within the group and also to whoever is interested in listening to these things. And this example setting is a fantastic thing to do.
I think Pankaj, you can please mute your microphone.
You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So, today morning I heard kind of a real instance about some colleagues' children. They have a daughter and a son. Son is younger, daughter is elder. And the son had a practice as childhood, whatever you give that fellow to eat, he will eat only a portion and leave it and waste it. And the parents wanted to give him a lesson, and they thought that this child won't listen to them, so better to take him to one Swamiji, and therefore they took it to one of the Swamijis of Ammaji's ashram. And that Swamiji actually showed a video, and that video explained that, it showed that children in the US were wasting a lot of food, and the scavenger who was there, he was collecting all that food and he was giving and giving it to deprived people who didn't have food and make them eat, etc. So seeing this video, the girl who was elder, she started crying and said, I shall never waste food after this. But the boy, who is the smaller one, the boy said, oh, now I am going to waste all my food here afterwards because then those poor children will have more to eat. So what I'm trying to say is that, when you show something or some example, again the children will have their own way, but essentially the boy wanted to help. So those are the kind of sentiments that if we can encourage in young people. And this idea, this other thing that is talking very much is that, one should say no to something. No to drugs is very, very common, but Raghunandanji, no to thoughts, that was really mind-boggling. And I also have to say the same thing. Ammaji says that the first thought that occurs is not in your hands. Any thought can occur. But then taking it forward or dwelling on it or all these things is entirely in our own hands. And you are supporting that by saying that saying no to thoughts is an extremely, extremely powerful device to have our mental health, to have because mental health will give us everything good actually. This is what I believe. Mind is at the root of all problems and mind is also at the root of all solutions. So these are my thoughts. Thank you very much once again. Grateful that you gave these ideas to us. Thank you.
Few reflections from my end. In fact, Buddha's transformation happens in an old man, sick person, a corpse, and a renunciate monk. So that's how the transformation happens. To share a few anecdotals, one of our Kendra friends who got married and he had two children and who were orphaned at between. And one of them, during their college studies, got addicted to the video games. And he borrowed money from many people. And it's the tune of about 15 lakh rupees, the money. And people who have given money started threatening him. For paying one, again he got more into that particular game to pay them out. But it did not happen the same way as it's supposed to be. But at a point of time where he was completely perplexed and as to commit something to the outsiders, he could not do, nor the adopted parent could not do anything at that point of time because of the pressure coming from multiple forces. The only way which we could bring him out, as of now he is better and he has been making his life in a much more meaningful way. There are 2-3 ways which has been done. One, he has been taken to a center where in which you could see much more deprived people who were finding very difficult to stand up because of the polio attack, and the people who could retarded children who were finding. In fact, we put him over there with the alcoholics de-addiction camp, that was one at Tenkasi, another place at Friends of Campil at Bangalore, where he spent nearly a year. It brought him a good transformation. So, and recently, that is day before yesterday, we had a very good book being released in Tamil, Kodandaiye Valarpom by Rani Chakravarti, where in which we brought a lady to talk about that from YMCA, who is the principal of that schools of specially abled children. The way the children needs to model themselves or to make themselves available or better, it requires a constant endeavor of the parents to model themselves in front of the children. That is what the insight which she was sharing as such. Listening to all things, where we had a gala meeting of about 300 women coming to the meeting. One lady in the odd night of nearly 9 o'clock, she rang me up saying, she cried, stating that, "Sir, people in our area have been prone to the drug menace at Jayindpuram, Avaniyapuram. These are the places. We don't know what to do, sir. I am very much afraid about my son, sir. Please tell me what I should do as a parent." So this is a menace which has been happening. So two things which comes out from that. One is that during the young age of the children, they should be taken to at least a government general hospital or hospital where in which you could see the pangs of the people who are suffering. That is one. Second, we are blessed with better hand, better everything, and they should go and see that. Once they go and see the problems, then they understand the worth of it. Once they go and see the addicted people who have been trying to transform themselves, then they know the essence of being out of such addictions. So such exposures to them would give a great boon. And resorting, and the one whom I was saying to admit to Friends of Campil, he also had an opportunity to do a lot of physical work in terms of organic farming. You believe it or not, over a period, he came out of the whole thing and he was blessed with the God's grace of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, where his father could be a good servant in the institution of where we are. And today the person has completed UG and also settled all the debts, and he is moving forward, and he has been trying to do a post-graduation. The purpose of me sharing this is how best we could model ourselves to our parents is one. How do we give a right exposure to our own children to understand the value of life and the purpose of life? So these things make a sense and enable them to read good books which transforms their lives. As Raghunandanji said, infinite paths to infinite reality. Few things can lead us to a better place in terms of satsangs or this. In fact, Raghunandanji stirred me or made me to talk about it. In fact, the younger generation is in worse situation than what was earlier. So the need of the hour which needs to be looked into is how best we will be in a position to keep them productively engaged for a good cause is going to be a challenge of our times. Thank you.
Thank you, Madan. You see, we have already two practitioners of sustainability, Pankaj ji and one more person, Deepak. I forgot his name. These two people are very much welcome to our Deepesh ji. Deepesh ji, both of you are. I offer a hearty welcome to our group. So I was telling you that we should have more and more practitioners. We already are practicing, but these two people are doing something wonderful. I'm glad that such people are joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, Maitani ji, please.
Pranam to all. Sorry, my connection is little disturbed today. Thank you, respected Raghunandanji. It's great to listen you as always and as usual, and always very very inspiring. I have two three things to say. One is, the traditional family system of India where we grow, we learn from the family. This is the first school that way, which has been underlined by Madanji also in a different manner. So I still remember from our childhood living in a small village and small tidbits, they keep on improving our thinking process, and over the period they get imprinted, and then whatever way we do in the life, whatever work we do in the life, they keep directing ourselves to a certain direction. And listening to the right kind of people doing this in this world, sometime it looks like a samsan baragya, that you go to shamshan and then you realize that there is no worth of anything. Ultimately you have to be like that. Same thing happens with the we people also, that we are in the right society, right people, then thought process goes in a different way. But the moment you have come in the Bhausagar and start working day-to-day choruses, then you find that in society there are a lot of ills or other things also. The basic point is that how to make our thinking process robust, and that comes from the inner strength, and inner strength making it really somewhere you can say, as you rightly said, no to no, yes to yes. So how to say no, how to justify yourself, and how to, if at all some changes has to be started, in what manner it has to come from yourself. Really great example that you have to listen practitioners, because a lot of ideology is floating. People talk great from Kabira to all places. We know that these are the great tenets. We have to follow them. How to implement in the day-to-day life, and particularly for the younger generation, how to pass that. To me, it appears that the way we conduct ourselves, that itself is the great learning and teaching to the next generation. Because incidentally, long back, I was reading dialogue by Socrates, and there is a dialogue between Crito and Socrates where it says that what is the next generation? They are doing all sort of wrong things. So look, 2000 years back, the same issue was there, and today we are having the same projectile in a different manner. So to sum up it, is that one example which we can set in our life, that not only even if you talk or not talk, that influence our whole surroundings and environment. If we grow much, do in a bigger way, then it is the larger society get influenced with that, whether they accept it or not accept it, but that makes a difference. If you are living in a society where everybody is really conscious of like not wasting the thing, planting the trees, then next generation automatically get a feel of that and they do it. So same way, sometime I read the Michael Jackson's this song, that if you want to make a change, start with the man in the mirror. Is that ourselves? Because it is very difficult, more than saying, but ultimately it matters that how much we can change ourselves, in what manner, and what is the conviction we have. And for that, the journey and all these things, I don't know how to move ahead, but The question ultimately comes before me when I start doing that. There are limitations that how strong we are in pursuing the thing and how to pass it to the society. That really becomes a major challenge before us. So anyway, all the kudos, and Raghunandanji, you are always inspiring while talking. A lot of conviction I find what you say. Thank you very much. Please keep continuing like this. Thank you.
Karthi?
Thank you, sir. So, Raghuji's speech was really motivating. I really agree with whatever he told. I can share something from my own example. So my wife is a teacher. She's working in a government school in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. So she used to say that students of sixth standard, seventh standard are addicted to drugs, like low cost drugs like ganja or I don't know. The names are different, but they take drug and come to school they silently. But it look like it's like a silent bomb. At any point in time, it will burst out and the damages will be devastating. On the other hand, for people like us, the middle class and upper middle class people, the children also like that only. So, the previous generation children were in a regulated or responsible environment, so that their welfare was taken care, their discipline, their behaviors were taken care. But now the youths are exposed to multiple things, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. So there is no regulation at all. There is no guidance at all. The parents, senior people in the family are concerned about earning wealth or something like that. So their worries are different, and children are totally unregulated. In this condition, as a parent of teenager and my peers, most of my peers are at my age only, so I'm able to see. I totally agree with Raghuji stating that instead of advising them, be a role model. It is easy to advise them, but you will not get any change in their behavior. Rather be a role model, but it will take time. It will be painful. We cannot expect results in one or two settings, but it should be a painful and long-term process. Then only we'll be able to realize the benefit. So, thank you, Raghuji, for your inspiring speech. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else who would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, just one last thought from me. Yeah, thanks, Raghunandanji, for this session. And I think as some of the speakers before me were also saying, like we have so many people around us who are either addicted to some or the other problems. But overall, I mean, discipline is something that we will have to. I mean, we also need to follow, and we'll have to also imbibe to our children so that these kind of things can be reduced as much as possible. That's my learning that I got from this session. Thank you.
Can I conclude a little bit? One just from the thoughts which I received from our
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
member.
Go ahead.
You see, it seems once a mother came to Sri Ramakrishna saying that her child refuses to eat anything else other than sweets. Of course, Bengal is a land of sweets also, because of which probably Bengali is the sweetest language in our country. And she said that you call him and advise him. And Thakur, we call him as Thakur, I call him as Achan. He said that you come after a week. I'll talk to your child, not now. Then after a week, the lady came, approached him and then said, shall I bring him now? He said, no, you wait for 3 more days. And on Saturday, I'll talk to the child. So on Saturday, come Saturday, she brought him. And Thakur said, look, eating sweets will be bad for your health, and eating all the time sweets is very bad for your health. Now go play like that, he sent the child. The mother wondered, says, if you had to speak only two sentences to the child, why didn't you speak it about earlier, 15, 20 days back? And what Thakur said is extremely important. He said that 15, 20 days back, I too loved sweets. I too used to remember sweets all the time. How can I possibly advise the child at that time? Then last week when you had come, last 3 days back you had come, I still had small craving for that. But today I can say that there is no craving. Now I can advise. Now, what's more important is I think instead of speaking many a time, these children are extremely intelligent, especially from the age of say 2 to 6 or 7. They are like a spy agents. They follow all your actions, the moods of your talk, who comes to when some guest comes, how do we behave in front of them, how do we behave with one another in the family. All these are noted by the child and they learn. So Thakur's words are extremely important. Unless and until we live those things, probably we will not be able to bring changes in the people who are around us. I was telling you that it's enough to influence the people around us. And for that, I think we have to be extremely careful when we are talking to the children. And maybe uh, that is the effect these people have. Sri Ramakrishna, Amma, other people who are doing some very good to the society by distributing goodness to the society, because they are living them, and we should have living examples in our group. And I'm glad that the two people who are doing work for the society actively, they have joined us today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste to all.
Thank you, Raghunandanji, for that note of modeling, taking our Thakurji for example. Yeah, is any other thing is there, or we can formally close it? Anything else?